How's it going, kings and queens, and welcome to the third, I can't believe we're already at number 3, our third Isms of the week. We are almost a month into these things, and I am absolutely over the moon because I didn't think that people actually would pay that much attention to the weird things that I say, but apparently they do. And in honor of that, I have gotten my first request. It was an in-person request. I said Twitter or in a comment, but you know, I do talk to people from time to time in person, and this person says that I should do the word shade, or the act of throwing shade, because in the previous episodes I talked about thoughts and then I talked about reads, but you can't read without throwing a little shade first. So I guess I really should have done shade last week and then read this week, because reading is like an advanced form of shade. So without further ado, the word shade. The Urban Dictionary describes shade as dissing a friend casually, so it's kind of like a passing smart remark, as your parents would say, because I don't know necessarily that they know about throwing shade. And if they do, I commend them, because, you know, parents are trying to stay young these days. Nobody wants to get old. That's so 80s. But anyways, yes, like I was saying, the act of throwing shade is like being casually disrespectful to somebody. So, as usual, there are like different levels of throwing shade at people. You can say it in a passing comment, or you can be very direct about it. Like, you can, like, point blank say, hey, I think that your shoes are ugly today. That's kind of throwing shade. It's very blunt. It's no real creativity involved. You know, everything's better when you're a little bit creative about it. But see, once you really add in the attitude and then the blunt creativity of it all, that is when you get a blackout. During this blackout moment, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a pop culture reference because I'm chock full of them. On the show Empire, Taraji P. Henson plays a woman who just got out of jail. Her name is Cookie, and she is currently in a feud with her ex-husband's new girlfriend, who she affectionately calls Boo Boo Kitty. Boo Boo Kitty has now made a scoff of sorts at Cookie for wanting to say grace before the meal. So, in true Shady fashion, instead of coming for her directly, she comes at her through the word of the Lord. She tells her that God should not withhold his blessings, even from skanks who have people spy on her. Yes, God, won't he do it, hallelujah. So, that is a pretty good example of throwing shade at somebody, because she weren't even talking really directly at her. She was talking about her in passing, while she was still at the table. Boo Boo Kitty's reaction was to say nothing. She just was at a loss. And that is usually what happens after a blackout. When you know that you've gotten a successful blackout, the person who you have directed the shade at either gets irrationally angry but cannot speak, and they end up stammering. Like, you can be like, yeah, but where was your mama last night when you were calling her? She was with me. I don't know, something whack like that. And that person will be like, well, my mama was, you don't know, my mother was frying chicken last night. She wasn't with you. And it's like, womp womp. You just got red. Somebody just threw shade at you, and it was a blackout. Another way that you can throw shade at somebody is to kind of discredit them without them really realizing. So you can say, oh yeah, I just passed this test. And the other person can say, oh, you can read? And in that, you are now left to wonder, can you in fact read, or are they coming for you? I think they just came for me, because I am reading at an 8th grade level. Okay? 8th grade. I've read Of Mice and Men all by myself with no help from my teacher. But at this point, this person has now walked away, probably strutted away, just a nice glide away from you, because you are left looking like the fool. So when you are the shade-y, you have to always be ready to come back with something quick, because it's like a banter. So you can throw shade at person X, and person X can throw it back at you. And if you are the last one, it's like hot potato. If you're the one holding the hot potato when the music stops, then you have been shaded, and you have been disgraced, and you have been exiled from the island, because you can never show your face in this place again, because everybody's going to remember that time that, you know, person X called your mom a hungry, hungry hippo, and you didn't say anything. You said that she's been losing weight because she's on a very special diet, and her thyroid is just messed up. What? Are you serious? No. You cannot be the person who gets caught holding the hot potato. I can't talk today for some reason. Anyhow, You can't be that person. You always have to be the one throwing the stones. You know what they say about people in glass houses throwing stones? No, F that. Throw all the rocks that you want to. Because eventually, that rock is going to break something. And when that house comes tumbling down on that person, you will feel like your house is made of concrete. So, do not forget that as we go into week 4, our official 1-month anniversary of the Isms of the Week, I implore you to leave a suggestion. What word do you want to hear me use next, or phrase? It doesn't have to be a word. Like I said, it's an ism. So, please give me some motivation for next week. And until then, slay the day, because it's going to be okay. And you know all that fun stuff that I say at the end of every video. Bye!